So I thought I'd make a quick video and excuse the sound in the background. The AC is running and it's in my basement, you know, hovel here. This is an UltrasabersRepair crossguard. I'm going to repair for a buddy. He's only had it for, he's probably gone through about 5 or 6 fights, I want to say. And it's no worky. I definitely saw some broken wires already in there. So one thing I wanted to point out, I do like this saber a lot, and I like UltraSabers as a company, but come on guys, let's maybe get a little better at the wiring here. And at first I thought it was missing a light, because you have the side lights, but the actual light for it is way down there. So the light has to shine past this nasty bundle of wires in order to illuminate the blade, which I feel is not the best. And then, I don't know, it's just, I wasn't impressed with the internals. Great feeling hilt, honestly. I'm not a huge fan of UltraSaber heft most of the time, but this one feels really good. I think it has a lot of potential, but I would like to see better internals. Alright, I might take some more video once I've got it apart to see what it's like inside. Okay, adding on again, I've gone on another couple seconds of work here. This is literally how it was taking it apart. This wasn't even threaded in on this LED module. It's not even fully threaded in. As you can see, it wiggles. And then this wire had multiple points where you can see it's been chafed to cut through. I'm guessing it probably got caught in the threads on initial construction, because I guarantee you, my friend is scared of taking lightsabers apart, so he had not taken this apart. So let me just, if I can one-hand this, yeah, that just falls right off. So not great, guys. I've gotten metal shavings on here too. Is this cross-threaded or something? Yeah, there's some cross-threading in there. So just not great. Alright, that's where we're at so far. I rewired this portion. I should have replaced this wire, but honestly he gave me this saber last night. He needs it for a tournament tomorrow in the morning, so, and I just got off work. But I just want to show this video to show you where the heatsink should be sitting, how deep it should be in there, compared to, like I said before, it was the threads were not even really engaged. I had to flip over the heatsink, which isn't ideal, and I didn't have any thermal paste on hand, but it really didn't have any thermal paste on it to begin with. You can see what was left of the thermal paste is right there. So it shouldn't really be, it's only one LED anyway, and I'm probably gonna get this back from him and completely redo it after his tournament. So anyway, just wanted to show what it should look like when the heatsink is installed. I did want to give credit where it's due. Their battery packs have definitely improved over time compared to the last UltraSaber I looked at. Well, not the last one, but a couple of ones, like the first one I looked at, I should say. This is a nice bundle of heat shrink wires there. It's a much more stable and less likely to break a wire, and it came with the, you know, the Velcro to hold the batteries in and stuff too. So that's definitely been an improvement in the quality control department. So kudos there, guys. Keep that kind of thing up. Okay, just finishing, or more continuing the video log. I guess unlike the way I've seen some people do it and the way I do it, the switch isn't, there's no jam nut on the back holding it in, so it's just compression fit in there. I think Saberforge glues theirs in sometimes uses a jam nut. Jam nut can be a little more challenging, but I feel it's better, but that's whatever. I just wanted to kind of get a video of the break point. So they obviously did use heat shrink, which I like, but maybe upon installation there was some damage to it or something. I can't figure out why it's this chewed up. I might take some more video once I get this layer of heat shrink off, just to see why it's broken there. Maybe we have a little more information that way. Okay, so it's a little hard to see down in there, but I do see the broken wire. Let's see here if I can get right here. You can see this heat shrink it was heat shrinked, but it's broken right off there, and that goes to this purple wire. Should be right there. And I think part of the issue, and I'm not 100% sure, mind you, but it feels like this is a plastic insulator wire instead of a silicone, which, you know, the silicone wires, let me see here, you know, the silicone insulated wires are just, they're really flexible. You know, they take a beating pretty well. These wires are more rigid, the plastic coating. It doesn't, like, you know, I can scratch my thumb across this, you know, nothing. If I take this plastic, scratch my thumb across it, it can leave like marks. It's just not as forgiving, a little more rigid, like I said, which when you're taking hits and fighting, especially when, because a lot of these pieces weren't really even screwed in all the way, and you can see lots of little shavings everywhere from where the machine's a little rough. That's really my main guess as to why this broke, because that's not a movement area. It shouldn't be, not really. This had a little bit of play in it, but nothing much. It's an interesting design for how that all assembles together, which would be, you know, kind of like this, where this is sandwiched. You got your LED module here, goes up into here, which this is sandwiched between this upper portion and that. I mean, that's not a bad design. I'm not a giant fan of the wires being a bundle right in front of your light, but there's really not much you can do about that without taking some sort of external route. It's just maybe it's a slightly higher grade wire, which wouldn't cost much at all. Maybe $1 difference for the whole Saber, for using a higher quality wire than this. It's like, see how that doesn't flex back into spot? It just kind of, whereas, let me see, here we go. Whereas this, yeah, that's flexing there because that's got the wire inside it. But if I just had the insulation, it would bounce back pretty well. I don't know, just thoughts as I work on this. Now I gotta try to actually reach that without taking everything apart. Okay, all right, thanks. Actually, I was a little wrong before. So this purple wire is broken here. You know, and this has got the resistor for the LED on it. Looks like. So the red wire, the power wire here, well, it's power circuit wire anyway, it actually had connected up to this. So it broke right where the heat shrink is, and it's got multiple, you know, wires going in, which is fine. Multiple wires all soldered together, it's normal. The only thing I see, extra reason why it maybe failed there is some extra burn marking on this heat shrinking, so I think maybe it was overheated, weakened a little bit. Maybe they had the soldering iron extra too hot when they were doing the solder joint in the first place where the wires meet. Maybe the heat gun they were using. I can't really speculate too much, but I can't. It seems really weird that it would break right where the heat shrink is. So maybe it got caught on something. In fact, as I think about it, that might even be likely. It might have gotten caught when they were installing the button, kind of pinched and not noticed. Because this whole Saber has kind of screamed poor quality control, and not noticed, and maybe pinched it a little bit, and then it just kind of, over time, not much time, over a couple of fights, finished breaking that way, because it was already kind of cut through. All right, and I'm really hard on the Saber because it's really disappointing, but I want to remind myself and talk to the viewers too that I don't know that this is 100% indicative of the general quality level at Ultra Sabers. Again, I bought my son an Ultra Saber for his first combat grade Saber. He's had it for months. He's not the most gentle with it, and I've even borrowed it to use as an offhand weapon in a couple of fights, and it's never had any problems. It's not as complex a Saber, it's just a single bladed stunt, but this has just been really disappointing. So, all right, I'll see if I have any more videos at the end. I at least like show it working once it's working. All right, thanks. All right, it wasn't really in question because it's a stunt, so it's super simple. But the saber is working now, and I would say the design's not terrible. Just a little bit of routing changes in how and I didn't even really do much of these wires because, again, he needs it tomorrow morning, and if I start messing with these wires, I would replace every single one of them because they're terrible. But just a little difference in how you route the wires opens that up a lot more and blocks a lot less of the light. There is still a flaw in the design of these wires are going to scrape against some fairly rough metal edges. So if it were me, I would take a file, especially see how those wires just kind of sit across that. And I think that those big globs of hot glue and masses of electrical tape were to prevent that. But that totally blocks your light too for your blade. So that's kind of self-defeating when everyone wants a brighter blade. But I think some routing differences, some better wire, and some more attention to detail and assembly would go a long way into making this a much more long-lasting saber that has a lot more fit and finish, you know, a lot more quality to it. And I want to specify earlier, I said 6 fights. I really meant more 6 days of fighting, because I think probably about 4 to 5 fights each of those days would be more accurate number. But still, it shouldn't have failed in no less than 7 wire breaks total. I mean, that's just no. All right, well, hopefully this leads to some good changes, and maybe it was just one installer having an off day or something. But I'd like to see a little better quality coming out, because I think UltraSabers has a great product. They have a value in the marketplace that you can't really, you know, you're hard pressed to beat anyway. But this wasn't up to par, guys. Thanks.